This is the book of John, chapter 8 and verse number 12. Then spake Yahawashi again unto them, saying, I am the light of the world.
I am what?
I am the light of the world.
Right?
He that followeth me shall not walk in darkness, but shall have the light of life.
So it's going both ways. You gotta have faith in works. You gotta have faith in Yahawashi Mashiach, right? As well as keep the law of the Most High God.
That's right.
That's how it go hand in hand, right? So keep going what you bringing up.
Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15.
Bring it out.
See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise.
Right, we gotta walk circumspect, be circumcised within our heart, right?
Right.
And doing the things of the Most High God, being obedient to the Most High God, right? Go ahead.
Redeeming the time, because the days are evil.
Even the times, because the days are evil. I just spoke up about this with bro. You know what I'm saying? Josiah. When it come down to it, this is where they start everything at out here in Cali, right? So when it come down to it, like how would you say it? Like a trial. They started out with a trial period out here. So when it came down to the LGBT community, you know what I'm saying? It was downhill first. When it came down to as far as the legalization of marijuana, all these things, it's always downhill first, right?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but we live in this wicked place, this wicked society. But ultimately, it's not just down here. It's America and Esau's nations in totality, right?
That's
you know what I'm saying? You bring it up.
Wherefore, be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is.
God, you got to understand what the will of the Lord is, which again goes back to the same thing. Let's get it real quick. Give me hold that. We're going to keep bringing it up. Psalm 40 and 8. And then give me John 6 and 36.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 40 and verse number 8.
What's the will of the Lord?
I delight to do thy will, oh my God. Yea, thy law is within my heart.
Thy what?
Thy law is within my heart.
Thy law would be the will of the Most High God.
That's right.
But then, on the other hand, we got what? Bring this out.
John chapter 6, verse 36.
Bring it out.
But I said unto you that ye also have seen me, and believe not.
Right.
All that the Father giveth me shall come to me, and him that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out.
Right. And that's what bro was kind of going into last night. You know what I'm saying? My sheep will hear my voice. So if these people, you know what I'm saying, if they would just hearken and hear the words of the Most High God, oh Lord, that's crazy. Now, if they would just hearken and hear the words of the Most High God, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, apparently, the sheep of the Most High God hear his voice, right? Right. So, keep going, my bad.
Verse 38.
Bring it out.
For I came down from heaven, not to do mine own will.
Came not to do his own will, but what?
But the will of him that sent me.
Right.
And this is the Father's will.
What's that?
Which hath sent me, that of all which he hath given me, I shall lose nothing.
Right.
But shall raise it up again at the last day.
Right.
And this is the will of him that sent me, that every one which sees the Son and believeth on him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day.
Right, so it goes back to both things, faith and works, right?
That's right.
So the will of the Most High God is that we keep the commandments, but at the forefront of everything, have the faith of Yahawashi, right? That faith of Yahawashi is going to prove those works. But go back to what you had, yeah, back in the feet.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and verse 18.
Bring it out.
And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to yourselves in songs and hymns and spiritual songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord.
Go back, Read that again one time at the top. At 18.
Come.
Where you was at?
And be not drunk with wine, wherein is excess.
Right, so be not drunk with wine. This is not just talking about physical wine, like spiritually. We can't be drunk with the wisdom of these nations.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We can't be wise in our own eyes or take on, like, hold on. So the wisdom of this world is not righteous. Bring that out real quick. And you got it next. 1 Corinthians 3 and 18. Start at 18. And then you can bring that up.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3, and verse 18. Let no man deceive himself. If any man among you seemeth to be wise in this world, let him become a fool, that he may be wise.
Right?
For the wisdom of this world is foolishness with God.
The wisdom of this world is what?
The wisdom of this world is foolishness with God.
The wisdom of this world is foolishness with God. So, let me see. 22.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 19, verse 22. The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom.
Right?
Neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence.
Right, so the knowledge of wickedness, the ways of this world is not wisdom. The only wisdom that you're going to get will be out of this Bible, right? You got to crack it open. But that proverb has been set on us to where you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book, right? So, again, when it comes down to it, since we don't come back to this and we take it what it says about our heritage, you know what I'm saying, to take back our heritage. You know what I'm saying? We just going to and fro and being tossed every which way, right?
That's right.
Gentiles in a Gentile state of mind, right?
Right.
But I had to go on something.
Right? This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse number 11. And that knoweth the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
Now it is high time to awake out of sleep, right? Because the end is close. We see all the things that's happening. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as, you know,
you have what I've been waiting for.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, here in Los Angeles. Yeah, I contacted
eventually just take a turn for the worse and move in a hurry up offense.
That's right.
So, but we see that these are the times. So now it's high time to wake out of sleep. Go ahead.
Now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than we believe.
Go ahead.
Verse 12. The night is far spent.
Right.
The day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness.
Right.
And let us put on the armor of light.
Right. We got to cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light.
That's right.
But we just went into it. What's the light? Your light would be, again, having the faith in Yahawashi. He is the way. He is the light, as well as keeping the laws of the Most High God. That's right. Because that commandment will be the lamp to be able to guide you down your path, the path of righteousness. Not the path that you that you choose, being wise in your own eyes, right? Give me that in Proverbs 10:5, right? But go ahead.
Read it on. It says, Romans chapter 12, 13 and verse 13. Let us walk honestly as in the day, not in rioting or drunkenness,
right?
Not in chambering or wantonness.
Let us not walk in any ways of wickedness, right? Let us keep that straight narrow path. Go ahead.
Not in chambering or wantonness, not in strife and envying,
right?
But put ye on our Lord Yahawashi HaMashiach,
right?
And make not provision for the flesh,
right,
to fulfill the lust thereof.
Because just like Paul was talking about, we're gonna end up trying to lust after the flesh, and that what he said, that I will not, that I do. You know what I'm saying? I'm butchering that badly, but nonetheless, you know, in a brief synopsis, that's what the brother was talking about. We lust after the flesh. We're just dust and ashes. We're men. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
Right. That was it on that.
That was not.
Okay, come. This is the book of Romans, chapter 14, verse from the top.
That was it.
That was it.
That was it on 13? Yeah. All right, select. So bring that up. Huh? Come. Bring it up.
Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5.
Bring it up.
Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding.
One more time.
Trust in the Lord with
all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding.
Don't lean unto your own understanding. All of our understanding got to come from this book, right?
Right.
The book that we talked about, of course, that we pumping, we preaching would be the Bible, right?
Yes,
This is
right.
where all the wisdom and understanding would come from, right?
Teach out.
So, again, give me a Sirach 1 and
and all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy path.
You gotta make that step. You gotta move towards the Lord and not be wise in your own eyes. Don't move according to the beat of your own drum.
That's right.
Right? You gotta move how the Lord will want you to, because this is like what the people would say, the acronym. Basic instructions before leaving earth.
That's right.
Bible, right?
That's
So
right.
this is how we gotta move,
That's
right?
right.
We can't march to the beat of our own drum. We gotta march to what Yahweh wants us to do, right?
Let him know,
Worship
right?
our God, right? So
Be not wise in thine own eyes, fear the Lord, and depart from evil.
right, and we got to depart from evil. Bring it up.
Khan, this is the book of Sirach, chapter 1 and verse 8. There is one wise and greatly to be feared. The Lord sitteth upon his throne. He created her and saw her.
Hey, y'all got a minute for the Bible? No?
Thank you.
Okay. What about you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Sirach chapter 1 and verse 8. There is one wise and greatly to be feared. The Lord sitteth upon his throne.
Right.
He created her.
The elder
And
way.
saw her. And numbered her. And poured her out upon all his works.
A few moments for the Bible. I don't want to put y'all on the spot, but I want to ask some questions and see where y'all at with it, right? So, what would be y'all God-given nationality? And you agree with that, right, sister? Right? So, I know that we God's chosen people. So, with the times being evident that we're in the last days, what should we be doing? I ask you this: have you been making haste to try to keep the commandments of the Most High God? Yeah, give me that. And then, so let me ask you a question, right? In so many commandments, we're not in the new covenant to have that on our heart to where we know like that we can just think of all of them verbatim off the top of the head, right? But in the same sense, I can look at you and see that it's a commandment that you're not keeping, which I'm sure you probably know. But that's why I asked, so you making haste, because you're a brother, you seem knowledgeable off the rip, right? So, what you think I'm talking about? See that? Yeah, you gotta bring it up. Stop doing it.
He new to the faith.
I'm new, just learning.
Okay, so it does take time. It does take time. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, one, it's like with me, for me, my woman didn't know how to sew at first, right? But then in the same sense, you know, I went, you know, tried to go ahead and buy that machine. I had Big Bro right here. His woman was already on it. My first few shirts came from that, right? And then over time, you know, instead of going out to go buy a new wardrobe, of like, yeah, let me get that new polo shirt or whatever, it's like, let me put some money towards getting some stuff free so I can keep the commandments of the Most High God, because it's important.
That's right.
Wouldn't you say the same? Okay, good. So you gotta make haste to do that, right?
That's
so, and let me ask you this. Do you have any questions pertaining to the word or what? Not at all? y'all can bring it out to me. I'm y'all brother. You know what I'm saying? What? Y'all ain't got no questions?
Not yet.
Not yet? Alright, so bring it up.
Con. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 59.
Bring it up.
I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies. I made haste.
Right, it said I made haste. So everybody does not have the exact same spirit, right? Some people, it might take them some time. They take a baby step. Some people, they hear this and it's full speed ahead. That's right. But the most important thing is that you're moving closer to the Most High God and not just being wise in your eyes, doing what you want to do.
Right.
Because everything that he put in his book is important, right? Give me 2 Timothy 3 and 16. This is all, the whole book is for our instruction, for our betterment. So we shouldn't take anything that comes out of this book lightly. We ought to move in that direction. Go ahead.
Con. I made haste and delayed not to keep thy commandments.
And delayed not to keep the commandments. So I'm not saying that you delayed, but potentially this would be an exhortation. If you was already thinking about it, you already know you're an Israelite, you're trying to move in that direction, potentially, you know what I'm saying? This could be like, God, y'all walking past this path, because man's goings of the Lord, bring that up.
That's right.
Jeremiah 10 and 23, right? But y'all pass by here, it's like, yeah, brother, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Make haste to keep the commandments of the Most High God. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse number.
Did you finish?
Yeah.
You finished? All right, go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 23. Oh Lord, I know the way of man. It is not in himself. It is not in man that walketh to direct his steps.
Right. It's not in you to direct your steps, right? Man's goings are of the Lord. So you just even walking past here and us being down here. This camp, we don't have a camp in LA, right? We got all these brothers that you see is a makeup of Houston, Atlanta, and Orlando. Man's goings of the Lord just to happen to have y'all pass by here to give you that exhortation or that little extra push to do the things that you already know and you already learned. You know what I'm saying? So bring out what you got.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 16.
Bring it out.
All scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
Right. So that's just doubling down on what I was saying. So don't take anything out of these scriptures lightly. Like, I don't think the Most High is going to judge me if I don't have them little frilly things at the end of my shirt. Like, nah, he know my heart. I'm trying to move in that direction. No, anything that the Lord said, you got to try to move in that direction and make haste to keep the commandments of the Most High God, right? So, you had Sirach? Yeah, bring it up.
Sirach chapter 5 and verse number 7.
Bring it out.
Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord.
Right, make no tarrying. Saying the same thing, make haste to turn to the Most High God. Not saying that you haven't, but in the same sense, you gotta kind of speed up the pace, right? I wish I had this same push when I was BSing and you know, moving like a turtle to come into the truth. I had Big Bo right here, I had another big brother that was out here, and they telling me about it, and it's like, yeah, it sounds good, but you know, we're gonna see what it is. And then now look at me. I've never been a public speaker, right? This is not me. When I used to have warehouse jobs, I want to be storefront job type shit, type stuff. So like, I want to be in the back room. I don't want to deal with people. I don't like to talk. Now look at me. I'm out here professing the words of the Most High God.
That's right. That's right.
Not by chance.
That's right.
Right. This ain't just cause one day I was like, you know what? That's a lick. It's a whole lick. I can just go out on the street, put me a bucket hat right here, you know, preaching the word. Brothers gonna come up. I like what you're doing. Give me $1. I don't do this for gain. Right. I do this because this is what the Most High God told me to do.
That's right.
That's right.
So that's what I'm exhorting you to do, right? But y'all still don't have anything? Y'all have no questions? Anything?
Wear fringes too? Do women have to wear fringes too?
Right. So, Because the Most High God is very specific in everything that he does. Even when it comes down, if you think about the building of the temple, right? It need to be this weight. It need to be X amount of cubits. You know what I'm saying? This needs to be silver. This needs to be gold. This needs to be this type of material or that, right?
That's right.
The Lord is very specific, so bring it up.
It's the book of Numbers, chapter 15 and verse 38.
Bring it up.
Speak unto the children of Israel.
So speak to y'all. Y'all the children of Israel. Y'all profess that y'all Israel, right? So speak to y'all. Not the land. Not those people that's professing to be us, these imitators, right? We the true Jews, right? So speak to the children of Israel. Go ahead.
And bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments.
So let's stop there. It didn't profess like gender right there. It didn't say the women, because the Lord can get very specific. Because when you go down to it, when it like Deuteronomy 22 and 5, bring that out real quick. So it says, speak unto the children of Israel, lead them that they make fringes in the borders of their garments.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse number 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Again, the Lord is getting very specific right here. It ain't say nothing about gender right there, but right here he's talking about gender. Go ahead.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Right. So you got certain commandments that's specific to the man, certain ones that's specific to the woman, but when it says speaking to the children of Israel, it's all of us, right?
That's right.
So yes, to answer your question, yes, the women should be wearing fringes as well. So yeah. But anything else? Alright, so I guess we can bring it out. I mean, if y'all, many brothers got a flyer. I don't know if y'all familiar with us. You know, y'all can tap in, learn. We got a YouTube channel. We even got, what you call it? What's it called? The Clubhouse?
Oh, yeah, Clubhouse.
Yeah, the Clubhouse classes. You know what I'm saying? Like on Thursday, Brother be teaching. Y'all can tap in. You know, I don't know if y'all, you know, we got elder brothers in our camp that don't fool with technology like that. Don't be wanting to tap in. But if y'all want to get on there, feel free. You know what I'm saying? Get some type of edification. Right?
That's right.
So what I had you at?
I read it already.
You ready? All right. So let me ask y'all this real quick. Quick question. How do you obtain? All
She say they watch us all the time.
We watch it on YouTube all the time. We came down here to see y'all actually.
Really?
You heard that? I didn't know how familiar y'all was. Especially with us. It doesn't matter where you get the understanding from. Well, I'm not gonna say that, but nonetheless, like you coming into this knowledge and the Most High God opening up your eyes, regardless if it's our camp, another camp, whatever the case may be, it's a beautiful thing, right? Because we need to take our kingdom back, right?
That's right.
So let's get back into it. Give me, I think you had Isaiah 51:17. Hey brother, you got a moment for the Bible? I ain't really hear what he said.
Nah, me neither.
Not at the moment. What about y'all? Y'all got a moment for the Bible? Bring it up.
Isaiah chapter 51, verse 17.
Read up.
Awake, awake, stand up, O Jerusalem.
Right, that's what we're trying to tell our people. We're trying to wake our people up. You know what I'm saying? We got some beautiful family right here that woke up, but we're not going to the nation. It's not on an individual basis, right? We got to rise up as a nation, come back to the Most High God, and once the elect is sealed, then when Yahawashi come back and return, right? Go ahead.
Which has drunk at the hand of the Lord the cup of his fury. Thou hast drunken the dregs of the cup of trembling and wrung them out.
That's why we're going to. That's why we up under these curses. because our disobedience to the Most High God, now we living in the times to where His fury is being poured upon us, right?
That's right.
Verse 18.
Bring it up.
There is none to guide her among all the sons whom she has brought forth. Neither is there any that taketh her by the hand of all the sons that she has brought up.
Right, because when you think about it with the other nations, they're not like they know what's up. Give me that in Judah. They know what's up. They know if they keep us away, you know, from keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, our power with the Most High God, that we're gonna be in derision. Why would they grab us by the hand and try to lift us up and be like, you know what? You a child of the Most High God.
Ain't finna happen.
You an Israelite. They not about to do
Ain't
that.
finna happen.
They want to keep us with foot on our neck, right?
That's right.
So bring it up.
This is the book of Judah, chapter 5, verse 20.
Right.
Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Right, so that'll be our ruin. And all these nations know this, right? All these nations know this. And then on top of it, like when you give me First Maccabees, what is it? 1 and I think it's like 51, right? Because that's why as soon as they take over, they rip everything from us. They know that this is our power, right? They don't want us to keep the commandments of the Most High God, right? They take away all of our heritage, everything. And now we're just trying to assimilate, right? We're trying to be equal to these people that we're above.
That's right.
Which is madness. That doesn't even make any sense. You got it? Yeah. Let me see. That's it. Nah. You said 11? Start at 55.
First Maccabees chapter 1, verse 55. And burnt incense at the doors of their houses and in the streets. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law.
Right. This what these people did. Why do you think when it comes down to when people like to talk about so-called slave Bible, there wasn't a Bible that you grab at the front and then right here it say King James Version slave Bible. No, they ripped the books, like they ripped stuff up out of there and kept us away from learning our heritage, right? And just only gave us certain things that would benefit them.
Right.
So they know that this is our power. So they rent in pieces the book of the law because they know that that's our power, right? Go ahead.
They burnt them with fire.
They burnt them with fire. That's great. They try to get rid of it, right? But somehow the Most High preserves His word. It's down there like the book of Eli. He out there with the only book, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Out there with the only book, even with Braille. But He gonna make sure His people still are able to come back to Him, that they had His knowledge and His understanding, right?
Right.
Because I've seen situations, you can Google it, to where it's been like a whole church burned down, the hymn books, all the pews, everything, and then when they go back and they sorting through the rubble, it's a whole bunch of Bibles unscathed and untouched. How does that happen?
The
Most High God preserved His word.
That's right.
And wheresoever was found with any of the book of the testament, or if any consented to the law,
right?
The king's commandment was that they should be put to death.
Right, that they should be put to death. And that happens time and time again. We see examples of this all through the scriptures, even with Daniel, right? They even tried to come up with some, like make a consortium, something like that against him, to bring it to the king, to be like, you know what? We're going to rise up, like we're going to make this rule or this law to where he can't serve his God, you know what I'm saying, to try to bring him down. And then what did he do? He kept serving the Most High God. That's what we ought to do. Regardless if this society is trying to keep us from these ways, putting up all these laws, saying it's all right for men to be feminine, you know what I'm saying, with painted fingernails and skirts and all this type of stuff, LGBT community, all that type of stuff. Even though that they're saying that it's okay, we gotta hearken to the Bible.
That's right.
The Most High God, right? These are our laws. These are our statutes. So no matter if it's something like that, because something like that would honestly be like, you made your mind up to do these things. But even when it comes down to things that they'll like to try to, push us in the direction about going against the Most High God, we got to keep away from that.
That's right, King.
Go ahead.
Thus did they by their authority unto the Israelites every month, to as many as were found in the cities.
Right.
Now the 25th and 20th day of the month.
No, that's it on that. So give me real quick. Water. Give me what was that? Give me Ezekiel 37. No, what you had? Oh yeah, Ezekiel 37 from the top.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37 and verse number 1. The hand of Yahweh was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of the Most High, and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones.
Right, full of bones. These people, and this is what we going through, right? We basically in the midst of the walking dead.
Right.
Everybody walking around, they seem to be healthy. They're going about their day or whatnot, but spiritually, they are dead.
That's right. We're in which was full of bones,
right,
and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley.
Hey, you got a minute for the Bible? Now, y'all got a minute for the word of the Lord? What about you, brother? You got a moment for the Bible? Come up here, King.
Come in the word, come in the word. Feel up.
Get a minute for the Bible.
I'm going to ask you something. What would be your God-given nationality?
African American.
African American. Do you find African American in the Bible?
No, you don't.
At all.
But did God create all people, all nations and races on this earth?
Yes.
So we would have to be called by what God called us. That would be our true nationality. So the African Americans, since you classify yourself as that, who would they be in the Bible?
I would say the ignorant individual. The ignorant individual.
Ignorant individual. Okay, so yeah, bring it up. So the thing is, the reason that we don't know is that we've been discontinued from our heritage, right? We've been disconnected, right? Because our heritage is not, breakdance, hip hop, fat form, whatever, black-owned clothes, all that, everything that you see in the media, that's not our heritage. Our heritage is in this book of the Bible. You know what? Give me real quick before you bring that out. Sirach 24 and 23.
Right. That's right.
Sirach chapter 24 and verse 23.
Bring it out.
All these things are the book of the covenant of the Most High God.
Right.
Even the law which Moses commanded for an heritage unto the congregation of Jacob.
Right, the congregation of Jacob, but that's to the people of Israel. And we're out here to tell you that 9 times out of 10, you will be of the children of Israel, God's chosen people, right? So, have you ever heard that before? Let me ask you that.
No, I know people that practice in that religion as far as Israel and Muslims.
James 1 and 27. Go ahead.
And I know it's a different belief from what I believe in. I just believe in a higher power. I believe, everybody's the same. Everybody's the same race, but we have been divided by a one race that causes us to go against each other, like the Mexicans and the blacks, like the whites and the blacks, like the Chinese and the blacks, everything. But we all minorities are supposed to come together, but we don't, because most of us is like too influenced and too ignorant to realize of what's the real truth.
So, real quick, you said you acknowledge that there's a higher power. What is the the standard behind it. Like, so you realize that it's a higher power, but is there anything that you gotta keep, rules that you gotta live by, or you can just go on through life, realize, like, acknowledging that, yeah, I know it's a higher power, but I'm still do what I want to do.
I believe that there is a higher power, but we have to have a certain standard. We have to have a certain morals as individuals, as human beings, to cope with other races.
Right. So the thing is, when it comes down to it, your morals and your moral code might be different from mine. So if you might think that, you know, you treat me right, or, you know, you're moving like as a brother, and then I might get offended by something that you're doing. So it has to be some type of common ground. There has to be a standard. What I'm trying to show you is that the standard would be the Bible. This is the moral code that you should go by, right? So why don't you believe, like, the better question, right? Lastly, why don't you believe in the Bible? Like, why do you just believe that it's a higher power, but you kind of disassociating yourself from this book? Because again, I just brought out that this is a book of heritage, not religion. That's the thing. It's not that. Because when it comes down to it, yeah, our oppressors have used this as a tool, you know what I'm saying, to mess us up mentally, right? It has put a mental yoke upon us to where it's like, you know what, that's the white man's book. I'm not dealing with that, right? Or they gave us this Bible in the time of slavery, which is not true, right? The Lord preserved his word. It's been here way before that, right? But in the same sense, it's like, again, this would be our moral code. This we should go by. So, my bad, I cut you off. What you saying?
Well, I believe the Bible to a certain extent, because over times of generations and centuries, it's been written over and over and over. Right. Like they say, like it's Adam and Eve that was the firstborn, but in the other decoded version, they said that it was human beings before it was Adam and Eve, and then the Garden of Eden was just a laboratory.
Right. So I can go into that. I feel like it'll be more profitable for you to learn that you're an Israelite, according to the Most High God, and believe in this book, because the Bible still says that to this day. People have misused and abused it, or had their own private interpretation, even though the Bible said this book is not a book of its own private interpretation. It has one message throughout the whole thing from front to back. There's no contradiction, right? But they made us to believe that. So just to be plain, yes, there was people before Adam and Eve, but we ain't got to go into it. The Bible says that. I can show you that, but again, if you stick around after you learn who you would be according to the Most High God, my time might be up, but another brother can get into that, right? So, all right, let's get it. Like, so, Jeremiah 17, where you was at. And real quick, Psalm 68 and 11. So although this book, you know, you talk about this being like not rewritten over time, more so translated. Because every time we as a people, like, okay,
God bless y'all.
and it's supposed to be the Hebrews according to the Bible, and then we're taken into captivity, and they beat our heritage out of it. Now we gotta learn English and all that. The Most High God, everything is predestinated. It's been planned from the beginning. To preserve his word, for us to have that understanding, it had to be rewritten. But we still not lost in the sauce. Like, we not out here just, you know, professing some words that I'm gonna let the Bible prove itself. Bring that out there.
This is the book of Psalm, chapter 68, and verse number 11.
Bring it up.
The Lord gave the word.
Right.
Great was the company of those that published it.
Right. So the Lord gave the word, but great was the company of those that published it. But nonetheless, even though it's so many, people would like to say different authors, right? You got the book of this, the book of that, the prophets, all that. But it's still in complete unison. Like, ain't a step been missed. So bring that up.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17 and verse number 4. And thou, even thyself, shall be discontinued from thy inheritance.
So it's talking to Jeremiah, right? The prophet. He said, you, even your people, should be discontinued from your heritage, right? Go ahead.
Shall be discontinued from your heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies.
Right, he'll cause this people, Israel, to serve your enemies, right? Go ahead.
In the land which thou knowest not.
Right? Go ahead.
For you have kindled a fire in mine anger,
Right.
which shall burn forever.
Right. And why is that fire kindled? Because we're in disobedience to the Most High God. But yet us, as the but in the land, not disconnected from our heritage, calling ourselves African American, descended of slaves. You know what I'm saying?
What is this?
Just black.
Who we are is we are the Israelites. We come out here and teach who everybody is.
Right? But we just take every byword that they put up on us, and that's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. So we gotta do a deep search, but not Ancestry.com, not get on Google and see where did the black man originate from. No, get in the Bible, because this is the book of our heritage, right? So give me that Deuteronomy 28. Let's get into it. Start from the top.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse number 1.
So just to give a disclaimer, this is Moses speaking to the children of Israel, right? Which 9 times out of 10, I feel that you would be, right? A child of Israel, right? Every one of us in this close parameter is, right? Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
So the hearken means to listen, if you didn't know. So we'll just listen to the voice of the Most High God, and we'll obey him what?
To observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day,
Right?
that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
No, so not only if we just get into our book of our heritage, not just read it and try to get the understanding, but if we also apply it, like it said, to read it and then do it. You got to do the commandments of the Most High God, right? That will be set on high above all nations. But I noticed you said something about you feel like us as like we should be equal to these other nations. We should. But the Most High God doesn't say that. What he said? Bring it out again.
It reads, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high,
Equal to.
on high,
Beneath.
on high,
Right?
above all nations of the earth.
Right. He has a chosen people, right? So I don't know you, but I assume everybody got a favorite. Those might be your favorite shoes, right? You probably got 5 shoes in the closet, 10, 15. I don't know. You could be a whole shoe head out here, but you got a favorite, right? You bought all of them, so you liked all of them, right? But it's one that you like in particular. That's the Israelites to the Most High God. We're that chosen nation to the Most High God. Bring it up.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 6.
Bring it up.
For thou art an holy people,
Right.
unto the Lord thy God.
Right.
The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself.
Right, talking about the children of Israel. They are a special people to the Most High God, right? Go ahead.
Above all people,
Right.
that are upon the face of the earth.
It say above. We've been fighting for equality since the 60s. And to be quite frank, that has messed us up. You know what I'm saying? All the what you'll call integration and wanting to just be equal with a nation that we're clearly above by not just by because we feel like it. The Most High God said that, right? He said we're supposed to be above all people on the face of the earth. Give me one more. Give me one of y'all Psalm 147 and 19, and then one more. Give me Joel 2 and 27. 147 and 19. Yeah, and then we're gonna go back.
This is the book of Psalm 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Right? So Jacob, if you read the Bible, Jacob's name was changed to Israel in the book of Genesis, right? He wrestled with the angel and God gave him a new name, called him Israel. So when you think about Israel, it's not that land overseas, right? Because we was a people before we was a nation or a land, well, before it was a landmass, right? So when it's talking about Jacob, right? Go ahead, read it again.
He showed his word unto Jacob.
So he showed his word to the people of Israel, his people, his chosen people. Go ahead.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
Right?
He hath not dealt with He has not dealt so with any nation.
No, the Most High God dealt with every nation.
He has not dealt so with any nation.
Now, a few of them.
He has not dealt so with any nation.
Right. It says that he has not dealt so with any nation. So this is not my word. This is not me trying to pump you up. You're like, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Teach you lies. The Bible says that itself. He hasn't dealt with any other nation because he has a chosen people. One more. Bring it up.
This is the book of Joel, chapter 2, and verse 27.
Bring it out.
And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel.
Nah, 45. Go ahead.
And that I am the Lord your God, and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed.
Right, but he just said, I am the Lord your God, speaking to the children of Israel and none else. That don't make you, that don't get the gears turning. You know what I'm saying? The way it's like, damn, I've been wanting to just, we can just all get along and kumbaya, and then white man on this side, Asian man on this side, and we just kind of, you know, what's that dance? Swag and surf together. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not the case. We're not doing that, but nah, that's my time. This brother about to get up in there and keep tap in.